Welcome back. This is Adventures with Dr. Joe. Today we're going to take apart a Browning Silver Hunter, and we're going to describe every part and the sequence of taking it all apart and putting it all back together. There are some videos on YouTube that describe this, but they're pretty incomplete and inadequate. So let's go through this in great detail. Here we go. So the first thing we're going to take off is this knurled knob. It's known as the magazine end. And this is the fore end or the fore stock that will come off. This is the first step in the majority of shotguns to remove this, and then everything else can come apart. Here's the fore end or the fore stock. We're going to take that out. And now we've got the barrel, we've got the carriage, we've got the magazine in here, and we've got another couple important parts that I need to discuss. Okay, so it's important to identify this part, which is the gas sleeve and its orientation, because when this comes apart, there is a tube that goes into a fitting here and it needs to be reoriented in the same orientation. This is the gas piston. Gas from this comes and cycles the gun every time it shoots. So we're going to carefully bring this apart. Here's the barrel, gas piston, and then the sleeve. Again, with this important part, we need to remember where it goes when we reassemble this. It goes into this slot right here. Okay, this is known as the sleeve spring that comes off next. Okay, now we're going to release the bolt. And when we do, we'll put down this loader. And now, to remove the bolt handle, there's a rectangular piece inside here which we need to release. Okay, so in here is a triangular piece we push down, and then this comes off very easily. And that allows us to take the bolt and the bolt carrier out. So we depress it again. And that lets us take the bolt and the bolt carrier. This is the bolt, this is the bolt carrier out. And you can see they're filthy, but we're going to clean those. You can see. So this has been shot quite a bit. We're going to get this cleaned up and then get some solvent on it to help remove some of that grime, but you can see there's a lot of it. That's what happens when you have a gas-operated semi-automatic shotgun. Here's the entrance into the magazine. This is the magazine tube, magazine end, and this can come off, and then you can remove, if you want, the plug that's in there that prevents you from loading more than 2 additional shells in here. But again, when we're hunting, that's illegal, so we don't do that. Now let's take the trigger group out. To remove the trigger group, we need a pin, a punch. And this is brass, so it doesn't deform it. And there are 2 pins that we need to knock out. You can see here they come out. We're going to remove those. 1 pin, 2nd pin, and now the whole trigger assembly will come out. There it is. This is the trigger guard around the trigger itself, and this whole thing is the trigger assembly. You can see the piston in here that's spring loaded, and that's what helps cycle the bolt. When the bolt goes back, loads a new shell, then the spring pushes it forward, and it goes from the magazine into the chamber. It chambers another round. So that's that bolt in there, you can see. So when it comes to the trigger group, this is the trigger guard, hammer. Pull the trigger. The hammer strikes the firing pin, which we'll show you here, which is part of the bolt. Here, this is the firing pin. So when the hammer goes forward, it strikes this firing pin, push. And what it does, you can see the little lock here, that locks and holds the shell. That's the extractor. That holds the shell in place. And then the firing pin, boom, moves forward, strikes the center cap, and the charge goes off. The shell goes bang. Okay, the next step is to clean the barrel, which I'm going to do off camera, then we're going to reassemble it. Okay, let's put it back together. So we're going to first put the bolt in the bolt carrier, and this is the bolt, it's the bolt carrier, and this notch here fits in like that. And then this release allows us to put the bolt trigger, the bolt handle in. So let's put this in. But then we have to be sure that this pin fits in that cup where the spring actuates this to allow this to cycle. So let's get it in here first. It fits in those grooves, and then inside, yep, we need to align that pin to go into this cup. That's very important, and you can tell that it's in when we push on the bolt, and it fits in there. So that's it. Then we can push this spring down to allow us to put the handle in place. Now we got it. Great. You can watch that cycle. Okay, the next step is to put the trigger group back in. You can put it either with the hammer up or down. Doesn't matter. Down is probably a little bit easier. Goes in forward this way first. Just like that. Then take one of these pin punches just to be sure that the holes for the pins are perfectly lined up. Put these pins back in, give them a little tap. This one a little tap. There we go. Now the bolt should slide back and stay. Just like that. Now the sleeve spring needs to go on next, followed by the gas sleeve with, again, this point entering into this hole. We'll put it on. Goes in here like that. Then the gas piston with the narrow end going forward. Just like that. Then the barrel. It has to go in here and here at the same time with the bolt back. And again, the sleeve and the piston, they're moving together. Now, put the forend or the forearm up, and it has this piece in the front, larger opening in the back. There that is. Now we're just set it up and hold it down for a second so that we can thread this magazine cap on the end. Give it a good tightening. Gun's ready to go. So that's the reassembly of the Silver Hunter. So thank you for watching. Again, that was the disassembly and the assembly of the Browning Silver Hunter 20 gauge shotgun in great detail with all the parts properly labeled and discussed. If this was helpful, please click the thumbs up. It helps the channel a lot. Consider subscribing. And again, thank you.